Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Celeste and I film motherhood, lifestyle, faith-based videos, kind of everything in between. And today I'm doing a Q&A video. I actually got inspiration for this video from Delilah Lepke. Her channel is called Lepke's Life. I absolutely love watching her videos. She is a Christian mother of 3 kids and I've been watching her since before I was even a mom, and I've just always loved her content. But she does these Q&As where she folds laundry while she does it, and I was like, that is a great idea. My baby is napping, and so I'm trying to use this little bit of time that I have to answer some of the questions you guys have asked me recently. Here we go. We'll go ahead and answer this one in the beginning. Just because I feel like it came up a lot. It was asked like more than 10 times, but everybody wants to know when baby number 2 is, or if my husband and I plan on having more kids. And I think that this is a really interesting thing to ask people. Like, I get the curiosity, but like, for one, we didn't have like the easiest time getting pregnant the first time around. So I can't even say like, oh, this is when we'll have baby number 2. Like, it will be a blessing if we can have baby number 2, obviously. And yes, I want way more than 1 kid. I would love to have like 3 or 4 kids. I grew up with 5 siblings, and I loved it. So I want to give my kids siblings, and I think siblings are like one of the biggest blessings in the world. And I love being a mom. I'd love to have more than 1 baby. I don't know when. I go through phases. Like, one week I'll be like, I want to have another baby tomorrow. Like, let's start trying. And then I'll have another week where it sounds like the most draining thing in the world, and I don't think I can do it. I actually have been asking my mom a lot of questions lately, like, how do you do it? How do you love more than 1 baby? I'm sure every mom feels that way. Like, how are you gonna love your second as much as your first? But it's like, you don't know until you know. Also, the lighting is quite bad in here, just because it's like a gloomy, overcast day outside. So I hope you guys don't mind that. But yeah, when are we having more babies? I don't know. Do we want to have more? Yes. Can you talk about your parenting style when it comes to your baby's sleep? Don't think I have like one parenting style that I stick to like 100%. I kind of mesh quite a few into one. But as far as sleep goes, I've just kind of gone with what I feel like doing, and like I do what I feel is best for him. I don't have like anything that I follow or anything. In the beginning, I tried all the taking care of baby stuff. I tried like the getting them on a daytime schedule, and maybe that would fix nighttime sleep. I tried all of that, putting them down, never holding them to sleep, never giving them sleep crutches, and like, that is just not the kind of baby that my baby is, and that was not working for us. He slept significantly less when I was more focused on doing it the way that I was told to do. Now he sleeps pretty good. Nighttime sleep is different, but we do bed share and co-sleep. Like, he sleeps in his crib, but also sometimes in our bed, safely. And I go with the flow. I don't like really have him on like a strict schedule. I kind of go based off of when he is tired, but for the most part, he takes 1 to 2 naps a day. His first nap is like 2 hours long. And for a long time, I had to hold him for all of his naps. Like, for the first 6 months, I feel like I was always holding him to sleep. If I wanted him to get sleep, I had to be holding him. And all babies are different. All moms are different. So you do what works best for you. And it's kind of one of those things. I feel like everything about motherhood is like, you don't know until you're in the situation. You can say what you think you are going to do, but you don't actually know what you're going to do until you're faced with a situation where you have to make a decision on it. Because I told myself I was going to be that mom who put my baby in his crib, in his bedroom by 6 weeks. No co-sleeping, like none of that. And here I am, 12 months later. Any tips on how to keep your marriage strong while adjusting to being new parents? If your definition of a strong marriage is like tons of physical intimacy, then like, obviously you'll have to work around that. Or if you want quality time, or if you want, I acts of service or whatever. But like in the beginning, what was the biggest adjustment? My baby's awake. What was the biggest adjustment for us in the beginning was just like the lack of downtime. And I'm more introverted, so like I liked having alone time and like downtime, and then he is just very go with the flow and extroverted, so he liked having downtime to just kind of freely choose what he wanted to do whenever he wanted to do it. So that was like the biggest adjustment for us, was like you're not on your own schedule anymore. You're on this tiny person's schedule, and like a lot of your free time is taken up with trying to figure out what needs to be done. And the best piece of advice I have is just always look for ways to be serving your partner, and like communicate as often as possible if there is something that like you feel like you're lacking and that maybe they can help support you in. And also just knowing that, at least in my experience, it's not like, a lot of the time it's not going to be 50-50. It's going to be like 70-30, swapping on and off. Like chances are you're not both going to be doing amazing at the same time. So one of you is going to have to step it up into high gear to make up for the other person's slack. And if you know each other's love language, just really try to pursue each other in that specific way. And I don't know, you adjust with time, but it's been like so much fun for us. There has been times where it's exhausting because we're both just doing more throughout the day, and you're just so exhausted at the end of the day. So don't wait to give your spouse attention till the end of the day. Try to give it to them throughout the day while you still have more energy, so that you're not just giving them the leftovers. You can give them a little bit of your best. But my baby is awake, so I need to go grab him real quick. Speaking of baby sleep, that was a really short nap. He took a very long morning nap, so that was just kind of a cat nap to get him by. Take your toys now. Anyways, as I was saying, yeah, just a lot of communicating. And like if you're really struggling with the transition, make sure you tell your spouse that, because they might be struggling as well, and they might feel alone in that. And I don't know, just over communicate and over serve. Serve them as much as you possibly can. Austin did a wonderful job at that in like the early days of postpartum. And like honestly, those early days, I felt like we were so like just in love. We were both so in love with our new baby, but also just so in love with being parents, and like it makes you so in love with each other. It's just bliss in the beginning, aside from all the obvious hard stuff. How do you find peace with where you are? Career, success, kids, marriage, etc. I used to struggle with comparison like quite badly, and I'm not saying I don't struggle with it at all anymore, but I was just kind of explaining this to Austin the other day. I just don't feel like it even makes sense to compare my life to someone else's. Like, I'm a different person with different family, different friends, different circumstances, different financial like opportunity, different goals, different wants, desires, passions, all of those things, different upbringing. And like it just doesn't make sense to compare you to someone else and like their journey to yours, because we all started in a different place. We all started, some of us started with like an upper hand, and some of us were dealt more difficult cards. And like I also have just come to terms with the fact that like what I want in life is so probably opposite from what like an average girl my age would want. Like I don't really have any major career aspirations or like goals or anything like that. I kind of, since I was a little girl, have always just really wanted to be a good mom and a good wife, and just like really be content with my life and love serving in my life, and I don't know, like cook and clean and garden and do all the things outside and have a home to take care of. And I don't know, I've always wanted that, and that's pretty much what my life is now, on a very scaled down version, and like with quite a few setbacks and, you know, real life things that happen. But yeah, to find like peace with where I'm at. I mean, I used to work an office job for 3 years. I worked an office job. I didn't go to college, so I was constantly like comparing myself to other people and feeling like a huge failure because I didn't decide to go to college, and I felt like I needed to prove like my worth because I didn't have a college degree. I would compare like my relationship, compare my body, compare how much money I made, compare the car I drove, the house I live in. And it's just exhausting and it's silly. And like chances are the person you're comparing your life to is comparing their life to yours. It's like, is anyone really happy with where they're at? And so I've just put a lot of focus on being happy with where I'm at and not comparing my life to someone else's because they're too You two did. They're two completely different lives for two completely different human beings, and they just can't be compared. Not to say I don't have moments, because I do have moments where I do struggle with that. What Devo has had the most impact in your life? I would say, I mean, I'm currently going through one called Never Alone by the Daily Grace Co. And it's about walking through depression as a Christian, and it's good. If you struggle with depression, it's not one of those like wishy-washy, like just think positive and it'll go away. It's like nitty-gritty details. Very good, very biblically sound. So good. I feel like that's had a lot of impact on my life, but man, I don't know, I feel like I've done so many I wouldn't even be able to give like a specific answer to that. Did you struggle with body image during pregnancy? Oh, for sure. Not as much as I did when I'm not pregnant. I struggle with it more now that I don't have a person growing inside of me. I feel like it's so empowering to be growing a life, and like you're supposed to have a bump, so you just embrace letting your belly hang. And that's like nice. And just something about being pregnant feels so like empowering and wonderful and beautiful and earthy and like goddess-like. And so that part I was obviously like pretty confident in and just felt beautiful, but not like, you feel beautiful but not in like a physical way, just like a glowing from within, like fulfilling something you've always wanted to do. I don't know, that's how I felt. But first trimester, you go through so many changes so fast. That's when I got like all of my stretch marks, all of my like certain skin darkening, certain things getting bigger, a lot of changes, and it happens very fast, and you're like still adjusting to the fact that you're pregnant, and it's just rough. And like I also gained most of the weight I gained in the first and second trimester, so you're just like packing on the pounds really quick, and it can feel like a lot because we're always told to be small and not to gain weight. And yeah, I struggled a little bit, but for the most part I just tried to like be so positive and like love my body because I had wanted to be pregnant for so long. And like it is just a short season and you're growing a literal human being. Of course you're gonna be a little puffy. Of course. I don't know. I think all pregnant women are beautiful, and I feel like a lot of people think that. When they say you're glowing, they're not lying. How did you prepare for an unmedicated birth? I feel like I could do a complete separate video on this topic because I did a lot. Before I got pregnant, I was one of those people who was like, I want to go into it blind, like I don't want to have a birth plan. That seems silly because you can't really plan your birth, blah blah blah. But then once I got pregnant, I was like, okay, I kind of want to know what the deal is. Like, why do people have preferences, and why do people have some opinions about certain things? And like, there's obviously something to it. So if you guys don't know, I had an unmedicated vaginal delivery with my boy, and I gave birth in the bathtub at a birth center. It was amazing. It was really hard, and I would not have been able to do it if I wasn't like already educated on it. So we took 3 labor and delivery classes. It was like a set, and one was all about labor and delivery, one was about newborn care, and the other one was about breastfeeding. And like in the mix of all of that, there was also postpartum care, like the realistic expectations of being postpartum and like what motherhood looks like. But a lot of it was education on hospital births versus like birth center births, and then natural versus unmedicated. And they never bashed unmedicated births. They literally were like, here's the facts, plain and simple. If you choose to do it this way, then like good for you, but here are also the risks. And then same with unmedicated, like here are the facts, plain and simple. And to me, the pros outweighed the cons with an unmedicated birth. And I also just felt like spiritually like very drawn to doing it naturally and unmedicated, like, it was the most empowering, like, I don't know, just crazy spiritual experience of my life, and I have felt changed ever since. Like, seriously, there was a crazy change inside of me as a person. I am so much stronger, braver, more stern in my beliefs, and like, I don't know, just a more resilient and confident human being after having an unmedicated birth. And I hope and pray that I get to do that with all of my births. It was also very hard, but yeah, I prepared by taking birth classes, educate. I love Built to Birth here on YouTube. I think her name is Bridget Taylor. Watched every single video on her channel. Educate yourselves on like the pros and cons of interventions, and like how usually one intervention, like they would tell you this in the hospital, I'm assuming, but one intervention can most often like lead you into another intervention and then another intervention. And so like, I don't know, after all that research, it was just kind of solidified my decision to do unmedicated. But yeah, research, talk to people who have done it, and prepare yourself like mentally. Like I spoke so much affirmation over myself and like had no fear going into birth. I just kind of knew after all the research I had done and like affirming I had done, I was like, this is literally what I was made to do. Like, my body was made for this. I can do it. And going into it with no fear, I think, is the only reason I was able to do it. How to be patient when you get 0 alone time as a mom and a wife. I don't know. I'm not perfect at this either, actually. It's just hard. It's so hard, especially if you're the personality type where you need a lot of alone time, like me. It gets easier as the months go on. I think you kind of adjust and like learn how to seek those moments out throughout the day. But I feel like my biggest tip is like, adjust your expectations. Alone time before kids for me was like hours at a time. I could get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and have literally like a 4-hour morning routine, or go to the gym for 2 hours, or like go shopping all day long, do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. Now that's not realistic. So alone time to me sometimes is 10 minutes, a 20-minute bath while my husband takes care of the baby, or like a 5-minute drive down the road to get coffee and come back, or like when the baby goes down. I already talked about this in my last video, but when the baby goes down to sleep, that is about you. You can do things while they're awake, okay? They will be okay. It's good for them to watch you clean. Like, you can clean while they're awake. You don't need to be wasting nap time cleaning. Use nap time for yourself, but I know not everybody has babies that all nap or even nap at the same time. But yeah, I don't know. I've also like really tried to instill like the ability to independently play so that he can play, and sometimes I can just like sit on the couch and like scroll on my phone or drink my coffee while he plays. Yeah, just like lowering your expectations for alone time and understanding that for this season of life, alone time might only be like 5 to 10 minutes at a time, and it might even still be with your kids kind of yelling in the background. Like, I've really had to like learn how to regulate my own feelings and like regulate my feelings, regulate my emotions, because I get like overstimulated sometimes too, and it's just hard. Do you and Austin argue often, and what is your best advice to resolve disagreements quickly? I feel like we're maybe in a season where we bicker more than normal, but that's just like there's so many external things in our life causing like even more tension, and that's normal. Relationships ebb and flow just like any other thing in our life. Not my child unfolding all the laundry I just folded. As far as like resolving things, I've just kind of had to come to you have to understand your partner as a person. He needs more time to process. Like, he can't, I feel like I read this in a book somewhere. Women can process more quickly, and so like we can say what we're thinking as we're feeling it. Men are different. They like need time to feel, and then time to think, and then time to come up with the words. That's why a lot of times they like shut down when we're talking to them, but it's because they can't process a response as quickly as women can. So like giving him the time that he needs, but also like respecting myself and knowing I want this resolved. But yeah, I've just like had to learn over the years to like actually say what I mean. Don't say what sounds pretty, like to just say what I'm actually thinking within reason, not like the hurtful things, but like what I'm feeling when I'm feeling it, instead of waiting and letting it build up. And resolving conflicts, this is like more me thing. He's always like very quick to apologize. I always feel like I need to wait until it's like 100% like solved and consoled the way that I feel like it should have been. But I have to understand that not every conflict is going to be resolved the way I want it to, and like there's a compromise there. And sometimes for like the sake of your relationship, you just gotta be like, okay, we came back to an understanding and like we're moving on from that, you know? And I used to live and die by the don't go to bed angry thing. I don't think I swear by that anymore, because sometimes we've had arguments before bed that I'm like, oh, we're going to sleep angry, like what? And then you wake up and you're just, it's nothing. It's nothing. Like communicate as much as possible, but also like reflect on yourself. Look at where you're at fault instead of focusing so much on where they're at fault in the disagreement. But every couple argues. Every couple. How long are you planning on breastfeeding for? I'm 2.5 years in with one and 11 months with my second. That is amazing. Like, you are a rock star. I don't have a plan. Again, much of my approach to motherhood, sorry, playing with a rattle, has been to go with the flow. And I find that that is the least stressful and path of least resistance. I wanted to make it to 1 year, and we've made it to 1 year exclusively breastfeeding. That's crazy, and I can honestly say I am very proud of myself, because we have not had a perfect or easy breastfeeding journey. But he'll be 1 next week, and I don't see him stopping anytime soon. I would like to probably stop at least at 2 years old. If he wants to go that long, I will. But I also want to get pregnant, I think, at some point in the next few years. And I don't know how much breastfeeding affects that, so we'll just play it by ear. We'll see what you think, because you love Milky. Sorry for all the interruptions. He keeps grabbing everything. I got some questions on like stuff that we plan to do with him, like way down the road, like elementary school and stuff like that. I don't have any plans yet. Like I just am not going to plan for a season that I'm not in. And everything that I said I wouldn't or would do before I became a mom, I did the opposite. So I feel like it would be the same here. I feel like it would be the same if I like had a very, I don't know, planned out version of his future. So I don't have a plan. And a few questions on how to make sourdough. I've been doing that a lot more on my Instagram than I have on YouTube. I've been making like 1 to 2 loaves a week. I'm obsessed. And I will put that in like a vlog soon, but I pretty much just followed Kristen John's IGTV video on it. It's on her Instagram. She just has it. It's like an 8-minute video. It's very in-depth, very detailed, and it's exactly what worked for me. And then I use like a bread recipe from Pinterest, and it's the best, and it's way easier than I imagined. Do you like being a stay-at-home mom? I do. It's very hard, but I absolutely love it. I feel like I'm definitely in a season where I love it more than I struggle with it. There was like a while where it was just really hard to adjust to, like in the beginning, because at least for me, being a stay-at-home mom, I do probably like 100% of the housework and 100% of the cooking and a lot of the childcare, but that's just because my husband works, so that's what I do. I know that a lot of people like disagree with having that be like the division with work and stuff, but right now we only have 1 kid, so when we have more, I'm sure we'll need to compromise a little bit more on that. And then I did ask you guys for questions here on YouTube, so I'm going to go through some of those real quick. I really like this question. What does your relationship with food and fitness look like now? Do you intuitively eat or track macros? Do you have a certain workout plan or step goal? You seem so in tune with your wellness journey, and it's inspiring. Thank you. I really do feel that way. Hey, Hi, Bubba. If you are new here, a long time ago, like years ago, my channel was primarily fitness-based, and I used to be a fitness coach. Come here. I tracked everything that I ate or drank and was very strict. I did like heavy weightlifting, was in the gym like 2 hours every day. Then transitioned into like working out from home, and now I strictly work out from home. I work out 4 days a week, sometimes less, sometimes more. Anyways, I work out 4 days a week at home. I use the Peloton app. I do not have a Peloton bike. I just use the app because they have strength training, body weight classes, bar, Pilates, yoga, running, cycling. Like, they have everything. And they're the best because they have anywhere between 10 and 60-minute classes. So, like, on average, I really only get time for like a 20-minute class, 30 minutes on a good day. So, I don't know, that totals up to probably an hour a week. But I think like a couple years ago I would have laughed at that and been like, that's nothing. But now that's everything. And I'm proud of myself for doing that. And that's what works for me and what feels good for me. I don't track anything that I eat. I'm breastfeeding, so I just try to like eat plenty. I do feel like I have a pretty balanced palate and diet just from like my previous education. Like, I know that at each meal I should aim for like proteins, carbs, and fats and greens and all that. So we eat pretty healthy and whole foods, but I also have plenty of sugar and like desserts and stuff. So I feel very balanced. I think once I'm done breastfeeding, I would have like some more specific and stricter goals of like putting on more muscle and stuff, but right now I'm really not worried about any of that. Did you struggle with lack of sleep after having a baby? Absolutely. I was just talking to my husband about this as well. I'm not really getting any more sleep now than I was like 6 or 7 months ago, and I felt like I was dying when I first started getting like such poor sleep. Newborn days, you're just delusional. But then for me, he like started sleeping well for a while and then went back to really bad sleep. He sleeps worse now than he did as a newborn. And it was hard to adjust to because he started doing that around like 5 months. And so for a couple of months, I was just like feeling like I was doing everything wrong because he wasn't sleeping amazing, and like, I don't know, it affected my day-to-day life so much. And mentally, it's just like the side effects of sleep deprivation are hard to describe unless you've gone through it. But now it's like my body has just adapted. I'm not getting any more sleep. I'm not any more well rested, but my body is just like well adjusted and I feel good. And a lot of that I think is just perspective and not thinking like, oh, I woke up 400 times last night, so I'm gonna have a horrible day. Like, I just wake up and I'm like, okay, clean slate, we're gonna try to have a good day. Because if you don't, you're pretty much never gonna have a good day. Because my mom always tells me, she's like, even when they're not babies, they don't sleep. So might as well get used to it while you can. But it is very hard, and you just have to like take it moment by moment and don't overthink it. Don't let anyone make you feel like you're crazy or you're doing anything wrong if your babies don't sleep well or if you're struggling with it, because they're not the ones waking up in the middle of the night. Okay, I got a question. She said, struggling with feeling like a loss of purpose, transitioning from working into being a stay-at-home mom. Not lie to you, it is hard, and it's not a loss of purpose, it's just a change of purpose. It's not any less important than leaving the home and getting a paycheck and working a 9 to 5. It's not any less difficult. Maybe argue that it's a little bit more difficult in different ways. But it's not a loss of purpose, it's just a change, and it's gonna take a while to adjust, and that's okay. But what helped me the most transitioning to being a stay-at-home mom / newborn days, anything like postpartum, get dressed every day, even if it's just like this is a t-shirt and leggings. Get dressed and clean yourself up. You don't have to wear makeup. I choose to wear a little bit of makeup. You don't have to do your hair. Like, I just put my hair in a clip and make it look clean. But that was like a huge help. I got ready every day in the newborn phase, and it makes you feel like a part of society, not just like a little cave woman. Shower every day if you can. and like make a to-do list, make a little schedule for yourself. It won't go exactly to plan. Don't be crazy about it if it doesn't. But like in the morning, write down what you're gonna do, even if it's like wash dishes, do the laundry, play with the baby, nap the baby. Like make your little schedule and that you can see on paper, oh, I do things during the day and they do matter. I think people think like productivity is the only thing that makes you valuable, but what is more productive than raising human beings that are happy and functioning members of society and like are able to love on other people? Like raising a loving, happy, healthy little human is the most productive thing you can be doing. So it will be difficult in the beginning, but treat it like it's as difficult as you make it. And like things that I do, I like fill my diffuser in the morning. I always have my speaker playing music throughout the day and like warm, happy lighting. I get dressed, I put my makeup on, and like I just try to have like an upbeat mood and like treat it as something I enjoy to do. And housework, I have like a schedule for the housework, and that helps me not feel like so overwhelmed by it or whatever. I treat it as my day-to-day like 9 to 5 tasks to do. But yeah, get in your Bible, get lots of friends to rally around you, communicate, download Marco Polo so you can talk to your friends every day, and get out of the house with your baby. It's hard, but it's amazing. I love being a mom. I love being a stay-at-home mom. It's a blessing. But I'm going to wrap that up here because the sun is setting. My husband's getting ready to come out here from his nap. It's about to get loud and crazy, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something new about me or something valuable. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps support my channel. And leave a comment if you want more like sit down chatty videos like this. Again, not my idea. Lepke's life. She's the best. I'll try to link her channel in the description box. But yeah, make sure you go out of your way today to love on someone. Make them feel extra special because they are. And say bye-bye.